Have you ever looked at your dice and thought, this is the perfect amount, and I definitely don't need to expand my collection? Of course you haven't. You're a dice goblin just like me. All of us have this addiction, but I tell myself that I can stop anytime I want to, or at least I thought I could before I saw the dice sets from Dancing Druid Dice. Dancing Druid Dice has graciously sponsored this podcast and is offering listeners 25% off all of their products when you use the code ONESHOT25 at checkout. So stop going to dice rehab and use your money wisely, like to buy more dice, because let's be honest, you can never really have enough. Thank you, Dancing Druid Dice. Welcome to One Shot D&D. I'm your host, Judah, and joining me once again is the legendary Benjamin Ludlow. Welcome back to the show, Benny.
Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. I mean, since we last met, I think obviously there's been other episodes and whatnot, but there's a direct correlation to you and me buying that fucking sword, by the way. So, I mean, obviously this isn't a visual medium, it's only audio, but if you could see my wall right now, you can see that there's the superior woven sword from Witcher 3. Just because of you, Benny. Just because of you. So if my wife says anything, I'm going to blame you. Dude, I've been trying to find some time to go back and play Witcher 3 again. Just because after a one shot, finishing the editing, putting it out there and listening to it, I was like, oh man, I got to play Witcher again. I really got to play Witcher again. Yeah. Have you played Witcher at all since our last recording?
No, it's been a long time since I've touched Witcher.
They should come back. Well, they're releasing a new game, I believe, but Ciri is going to be the protagonist for the movie.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes because she played fantastic. I loved how quick she was in the game as well. But
with a little teleports.
Yeah, dude, you couldn't do that. Geralt was slow. Yeah, he was fast for an old fella. But yeah, Ciri was just a different ball game. Ciri was a different ball game. So a whole game of Ciri would be good, you know, because there's still so many stories that they could finish off that they haven't yet. Anyways, we're going to make this a game review podcast. So before we get started, we'll go ahead and get plugs out of the way first. I mean, obviously I'll have your Instagram in the comment section below, but is there anything else you'd like to plug?
No, I'm all good.
Yeah, sweet. Not a promotion plug for you, Benny, even though you probably don't want any more clients, but Benny's my accountant as well, and he is fucking brilliant. If I've ever had any issues with accounting, I just go, Ben, please help me because I think I will die. And you're very good at calming me right back down and going, it's not that hard. And it usually isn't that hard, but I'm not tech savvy. So thanks, Benny.
My pleasure.
Yeah. If you're looking for a new accountant, I'm sure that Benny, if he wants, I'll plug him in the description. Cool. The goal for this podcast has just been to grow a community, an active community. And so far we've been doing that. You know, we've got a Discord, we've got an Instagram page that's doing pretty good. You can find the links to everything in our show notes. And while you're there, you might as well leave a comment and follow us as well. But let's kind of bring it back to today's episode. Today's episode, I've actually created an Arthurian one-shot. I grew up around King Arthur, so you know, Knights of the Round Table, Indiana Jones, for example, also had a little bit of Knights Templar in there. King Arthur, Merlin, the TV show. I was Merlin in our school's musical, by the way.
Oh, nice.
We did a rendition of Camelot. I got to push Morgana Le Fay 3 times. It was fucking brilliant. But yeah, like I grew up around King Arthur so much. Have you had anything to do with King Arthur growing up at all?
I watched quite a few of the older movies of Merlin. Yeah. I watched the same TV show. It's fantastic.
It is. I mean, like, if you try and compare Merlin to Game of Thrones, for example, obviously it doesn't hold up because the CG just wasn't it. But the story was fucking brilliant, you know? I think the actors brought to life what CG couldn't at the time. Don't get me wrong, I was a fucking terrifying dragon in that cave. But anyways, yeah. Okay. Speaking of that, what have you brought to the table today, Benny?
Well, I thought, if we're going to be going after Excalibur as a knight, Doro would be the most appropriate. He's my paladin.
Hell yeah. Very cool. For the people that are hearing about Doro for the first time, you go ahead and describe Doro the best you possibly can, and then I will describe Doro.
Doro Featherbreeze he's an elf. Not just any elf, but an Eldrin elf of the season of summer. He's fairly carefree for a paladin. I mean, he's chaotic neutral.
Ooh.
Doesn't mean he's evil.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's more of a case of he's free-spirited. He doesn't consider the laws.
Yeah.
And as such, it's the path of ancients.
Ooh, very good pick.
It's more that, you see, when it comes to paladins, a lot of people play the lawful good, and they're very down the line.
Yeah.
I wanted someone from the Fae realm, someone who had Fae sensibilities, and they don't care about the laws of the material realm.
Yeah.
No, they don't make sense to them.
Nope.
No, they've got the sensibilities of the Feywild.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, you've grown up.
It's a different mindset.
Yeah. You've grown up around fairy tales, essentially. Fairy tales exist, and then you come into a mortal plane, a mortal realm where there's, physics involved, and you go, oh, that's fucking boring.
What's this thing with currency?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we be trading ideals, secrets, or items that have not particularly material wealth, but sentimental wealth?
Yeah. Yeah. So value is a little bit different. So Doro, I believe Doro is the character you were playing in the city as well.
He is.
I mean, like, great description. For me, if I was going to describe him as a DM, fucking problem. All right. Again, Benny is a DM, which means that Ben knows things that other people just don't. Whereas when he goes and asks certain questions, I'm looking at him going, fuck, he's found an out. But I love it. I love it. So, Doro. Okay. Doro. You ready to begin?
I certainly am.
Go. We begin by panning down onto the city of Camelot. Its tall spires reach high into the heavens, and the majestic white stone stands as a monument to purity and justice. Despite the display of strength, this city has been mourning for several years following the death of King Arthur at the hands of Mordred. Before King Arthur died, he sent his fellow knight Sir Bedivere to retreat the fabled sword Excalibur and throw it back to the Lady of the Lake. The death of King Arthur came as a shock, and it resulted in the splintering of the Round Table. Grief affected each knight differently, with some completely renouncing their knighthood to seek solitude high in the mountains, and some took their company of men and traveled to settle new lands. The few that remained, however, tried very hard to rebuild, but without Arthur and without the sword, it just wasn't the same. Although you were a squire during Arthur's reign, you were fortunate enough to now be a bachelor knight, and one of the knights of the Round Table is your Sir Knight, particularly Sir Percival. You wake up in the morning, having just received a summons from Sir Percival requesting that you meet him at the meeting chamber of the castle, a place you have never been to before. How are you feeling?
Excited. I haven't been allowed in there. I've been wanting to for so long.
Again, you are a knight, sure, but not just any knight gets to go into the meeting chamber. So you've got your stuff ready. You make your way to the meeting chamber. You stop in front of the doors. You see it's closed. What are you doing?
I admire the wood for a second.
Yeah. Standing there touching the wood going,
After a moment, I'm just like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And I knock on the door.
As you knock on the door, it's not like it was locked at all. The ornate double doors gently swing open. You kind of push through them a little bit, and you're struck by the magnitude of this great hall. The immaculate masonry along the walls, the prestigious tabards that line the ceiling, and right in the center is the legendary Round Table. Sir Percival is sitting on the opposite side of the table and gestures for you to come a little bit closer. Good morrow, young knight. I commend you on your punctuality. Such behavior is fitting for a knight. I have summoned you today for a very special task. A quest, if you will.
What sort of quest?
Sir Percival stands up and he towers over you, nearly 6'8". His broad shoulders cast such a long shadow across the hall, and he places a gentle hand on your shoulder. Walk with me, He begins walking to an open balcony overlooking the city of Camelot. What do?
I follow.
Yeah.
I go right out onto the balcony.
He takes you out to the balcony and places his hands on the rails overlooking the city. He doesn't look directly at you, and he's looking almost past the city. Tell me, young knight, when you gaze upon Camelot, what do you see?
The hustle and bustle, the trade, the thousands of lives that sit in such a large city. I mean, there's tens of thousands of people. What city has such number in all the realm?
I too see what was once a great kingdom, but it is now fractured and lost. Its inhabitants trapped by grief. Losing King Arthur devastated Camelot. Losing Excalibur has devastated the nation. He turns to face you. I have received word that Sir Galahad and Sir Tristan have joined forces in search for Excalibur. They hope to rebuild the Kingdom of Avalon by order of the King Philip the Mighty. Young knight, your quest is to not stop our fellow brothers who have wandered from the path, but to reclaim Excalibur for the people of Camelot. The sword shall serve as a symbol of strength, and the scabbard a symbol of our unity. What say you? Will you answer the call for Camelot?
Of course. I am always here for the people of Camelot, and I will not fail.
This podcast is proudly sponsored by WizardWorks Gaming. Hailing from Long Island, New York, WizardWorks Gaming creates incredible handcrafted accessories for D&D. Whether you're looking at elevating your encounters with flight stands or simply hiding a body under a beautifully crafted rug, the folks at WizardWorks Gaming got you covered. Use code ONESHOTDND at checkout and get 10% off store-wide. That's ONESHOTDND at checkout for 10% off. Thank you, WizardWorks Gaming. He looks intently at you. I admire your courage, young knight, but let me repeat myself. You are not to harm Sir Galahad or Sir Tristan should you encounter them on your journey. They are our brother knights.
Of course, but what happens if they get the sword before me?
Then we shall deal with it amicably. We shall hope that cooler minds prevail. The squire outside shall give you directions to the last known location of Sir Galahad and Sir Tristan. Remember, young knight, be ever wary, but watch that you do not rely on your blade to pass judgment, for mercy is not a sign of weakness. He smiles and then returns to overlooking the city. What are you doing?
Understood. And I leave.
He doesn't acknowledge you leaving or anything like that. Again, you walk out, you close the door behind you, and as you walk out, you see that a squire is actually already waiting for you. Sir Percival requested I deliver this to you, bachelor knight. He hands you a rolled piece of parchment with a wax seal, the symbol of the round table, which is a circle with a sword right through the center of it. What are you doing?
I grab it, run my nail through it, and open it up.
Yeah, you open the parchment and begin to read its contents. It states that the last known location of the other knights is a place about 3 days' ride west of Camelot, by way of the main road. You have a horse. What would you like to name your horse? If you say Shadowfax, I swear to God.
No, my automatic reaction is Roach.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, God, I'm going to have to buy another fucking sword. I only have, for context, I only have the superior Sylvan, right? There's the greater silver that I could get. There's the greater steel that I could get. There's 4 other swords that I could get, all right?
Well, but your swords always come in pairs.
Benny, I like the way you think. There's a good reason you're my accountant. But yeah, Roach, right? Is there anything you'd like to do before you leave at all?
No, I think I've got everything I need.
You can stop by your dorm before you leave anyway, so you grab all your essential items, you pack Roach, and you're off. During your 3-day journey, I'll actually get you to roll encounter checks for me, so go ahead and roll a d4 for me.
I have a 2.
Heavy rain obscures your view, and you lose sight of the main road for about an hour. Once the rain stops, you realize that you've been heading northwest instead, so you'll need to spend the rest of the night making up for lost ground. Roll another d4.
I have a 1 this time.
Your horse is incredibly exhausted from the journey. You'll have to rest now and lose another day's worth of riding. Roll another d4 for me.
Another one.
Ooh, unlucky. Roach is having a really hard time carrying all your stuff, and it's just exhausting. Something about this journey is exhausting, not just physically, but mentally exhausting as well. Roll another d4.
Well, that's a bit better, a 3.
A 3, go.
Well, I assume it's better.
Oh, who knows? Oh, it says you die. That's that. With a 3, as you're riding, you look ahead and you see that there are actually tracks on this road.
Mm-hmm.
You see that there's half a dozen sets of horse tracks. And since this is a fairly untraveled road, you can assume that these are the knights you're looking for. It's a bit of a Star Wars reference. Roll another d4 for me. You've already made 2 days worth of good progress. You need 1 more.
I got another 3.
Another 3. Again, you're following these tracks when you wake up in the morning, and right before you rest up for the night, you've managed to track them to a certain spot, and you go, okay, they've definitely moved past this, but it's late. Let me, set up camp. You head to bed, pretty uneventful, and you wake up in the morning. As you're packing up your belongings and you start to mount your horse, Roach, you suddenly see a white streak dart into a bush nearby. Roll a perception check.
I have a 17.
You grab your weapon off the horse and you cautiously approach this creature when suddenly a small white rabbit jumps out and looks directly at you. What do?
I very cautiously stop moving and just look at it and very softly go, "Hello, little friend. Would you like to be dinner?"
He looks at you. The rabbit doesn't say anything. It looks directly at your eyes, and it almost looks like it's looking through you. Before you can get any closer to the rabbit, it begins darting as fast as it can further into the woods. What are you doing?
As it's beginning to dart, how far is it away from me?
I'd say about 10 feet away from you.
Eldritch Blast.
Cool. Go for it. Roll an attack roll.
That is 17.
17. This itty-bitty rabbit cannot stand up against an Eldritch Blast. You cast it just, nonchalant. This is stuff that you've practiced. But as you cast it, you see your magic in the Eldritch Blast actually goes through the rabbit and doesn't find any purchase on the rabbit. The rabbit continues running into the woods. What are you doing?
That's most unusual. I run after it.
You're thinking about looking at getting on your horse and you think, fuck it. Every moment you delay, it's getting further away from you. You just start a dead sprint with your weapons and you're running towards this. You run after the rabbit, but then out of the woods, more wild creatures, deer, birds, they begin to chase after the white rabbit too. After a few minutes of running, you break through the woods into a clearing. The tranquil sounds of a stream softly echo in the woods. Beams of sunlight poke through the foliage above you, illuminating a statue in the middle of this clearing. The white rabbit hops along and rests under the shadow of the object. The statue is of a knight, bent on one knee with his greatsword plunged deep into the earth below. The array of colors surrounding the statue are in stark contrast to the deep black armor of the statue. What do?
I walk up to the statue and see if there's any plaques upon it.
Yeah, cool. Roll a perception or investigation.
That is a 15.
15. You get closer to the statue. It hasn't moved, hasn't done anything. But as you're looking, among the black armor, you find a very short dagger. It has an ivory hilt on it. There's no plaques, nothing on the actual statue, but this dagger seems out of place. It actually seems very familiar to you for some reason. Being a squire, being a knight, you've had to do a lot of research and you've had to learn quite a lot about all the magical artifacts around Camelot. You know what this is, but you just can't pick it up. Roll a history check for me.
A 9.
9. This dagger is unique. It seems too good to be just a simple dagger. Something about it rings a bell, but it just doesn't give you enough information. Again, it's a white hilt, and white hilt. Something pings in there, and you think, there's something about this dagger, white hilt. I think this was stolen at some point. That's all you get.
I pick it up and put it into my waistband.
Cool. You reach out to grab the blade, and as you go to reach, you see the statue burst to life, pulls out his greatsword from the ground, in an instant, ready to fight. Roll initiative.
I have a 10.
With a 10, you're definitely going to go before this knight. So even though this knight does, jump into the air and have his greatsword and is about to start swinging, you see that this guy is also nearly 6'6", just a behemoth of a guy. And his greatsword, the whole height of the blade is about your height there. So unless you say that you're 3'2", this is a fucking huge sword. But you are first to act. What do you do?
When I reached out, did I grab the dagger?
No, he jumped out before you grabbed it.
Okay, I'm going to go and try and reach for the dagger again.
Cool. As you go down, this is going to be an opposed athletics. Actually, no, what we'll do is we'll go sleight of hand, and he is going to see if he can, with dexterity, try and beat you there.
9.
9? He got a 6. So you reach out and you grab the blade. And as you grab the blade, you have it in your hand, and suddenly you start feeling very, very hot. And as you look down to where you're actually holding the blade, you see that your hand is burning. What do you do?
Well, I'm not going to drop this, so I'm going to bonus action teleport, face step 30 feet away.
Yeah, cool. You face step 30 feet away from this guy. You're holding onto the dagger still, and it is starting to burn your hands. It is the end of your turn, and you haven't let go, so you take 4 points of fire damage as your hand begins to light up in flame. It is his turn. He is going to move. He's got 35 feet of movement, so he's definitely going to get to you, and he is just going to swing twice at you. Does an 18 hit you?
No.
Cool. That's worse. He swings both times, and with a natural 3 on the die, he's going to miss you the second time. He swings both times, and his greatsword is this lumbering thing. It's like a heavyweight fighting someone who is a lightweight, The lightweight just knows these attacks are going to come, but they can move out of the way. It's just a matter of how long can they keep moving before they get touched, right? That's what's happening here. This greatsword swings through, and you can count on your hand 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 before it comes to hit you. You dodge out of the way both times. Back to your turn.
Okay. I'm going to grab my cape, wrap it around the hilt. Hang on, with the flame, is the blade hot as well, or just the handle?
The entire thing.
The entire thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll wrap it up in my cape and then pop it into my belt.
Yeah?
And I'm guessing I'm engaged, so I'm going to face step again. That gets me another 30 feet away.
Yep.
And then I'm going to dash away, which is another... My walking speed's 55 feet, so that gets me 140 feet away between the two.
This is a practice move. You've done it before, and this clearing is only about, let's say, 60 feet in total in diameter. As you're moving, though, you find that as you get to the edge of this clearing, there's almost a wall that won't let you get any further. Again, still about 45 feet away from this guy, which means that he cannot reach you. But you simply cannot pass through this clearing for some reason. What else do you do?
Okay, since I've still got movement, once he gets within 10 feet of me, what I'm going to do is run around the perimeter and then try and run to the other side of the perimeter to keep distance between us.
Yeah, cool. You keep moving around, and this goes on for a little bit more, and suddenly you see this knight, again, wearing a great helm. You cannot see this man's face, but his eyes pierce right into you, and he looks, and he cackles for a second. And all he does is he waves his hand around before plunging his greatsword deeper into the earth. And when he digs his greatsword into the earth, you see the clearing start almost narrowing. The diameter is now 50. What are you doing?
Okay. Well, while he's doing that, I'm going to start Eldritch blasting him from a distance.
Yeah, cool. Go for it.
So I've got 2 beams. Does a 27 hit?
Yep.
First one is 7. Second one is 3. And they're force damage. So I'm going to continue with my movement to keep distance until he's going to force me to get closer. What do I do with my bonus action? Let's see. With my bonus action, I'm going to put Hexblade's Curse on him.
Yeah, very cool. What does your Hexblade curse look like for him?
So it looks like red energy around him.
Yep.
As you know, it doesn't actually harm him, but it has all the telltales of as if it is trying to inflict damage upon him.
You're essentially marking him. You're going, hey, there's something about you that I don't like. So as you're doing this, the end of his round comes in. He digs his sword deeper. And again, now it's gone from 60 to 50 to now it's 40 feet in diameter. Top of the round, back to you.
Okay. I'll Eldritch Blast again. 13.
Unfortunately, that misses.
Yep. Okay, still got my bonus action.
Got 2 beams, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, fire the second one off. That's a little better, 24.
That hits.
And 1 damage.
Oh, unlucky. That is unlucky. Eldritch Blast is great, and then you roll 1 on your damage and you go, fucking A.
I am going to put Searing Smite on cast that on myself. Getting ready to actually go into melee combat.
Yeah, cool. So, within 40 feet now, he's going to move. He's definitely going to get to you on this round, and he's just going to swing his greatsword twice at you again. So his first swing is a natural 3 again, and the natural 18 on the dice. So 24 hits you?
24 hits.
Yeah, cool. So greatsword comes around. That's 20 points of damage from the first attack. He only gets 1 attack. So 20 points of slashing damage as it just rips into your shoulder. He can't do anything else here. He hasn't said anything, but you have heard him cackle quite a lot right now. Unfortunately, he's used his move. He's used his action, so he cannot make the diameter any smaller. It is your turn, though.
Okay, let's see. Well, I'm going to attack him back with my Warhammer.
Go for it.
That's 25.
Definitely hits.
And for the second one is 19.
Definitely hits.
So, and I am going to put some smites into this.
You already have a Searing Smite as well, right?
Yep. So plus a normal smite. So I'm going to put 2 level smites into that as well.
Fucking A. I forgot how good paladins were at this level.
It's only a level 5 paladin.
Yeah, I know, but level 5 is where paladins are still good, you know?
Okay.
There's one thing I love more than dice, and that's a cult. Wait a second. That didn't sound right. Never mind. It's true. I do like cults. More specifically, Cult Dice. Cult Dice have generously sponsored this podcast and are offering listeners 10% off store-wide when you use the code OneShotDND at checkout. If you're in the market for a new set of dice, and let's be honest, of course you are, why not grab a new set from the crew at Cult Dice? So, go on. Treat yourself to some new handcrafted dice, and while you're there, why not join your local cult? Wait, hold on. Wait, how did that get in there?
So that's 10 points off from the Searing Smite. 15 from the Warhammer on the first one. 17 on the second, so that's 32 bludgeoning.
God damn it. He's looking bad. He's looking ill.
Finally, so they were level 2s, which is, if I remember, a 2d8, is it not?
Good lord. There's more damage coming. Fucking hell.
Sorry, 3d8.
Oh, yeah, because you get an additional d8, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's level 2. So first smite is 18. Second, a lot of radiant damage, 12.
Cool. How do you want to do this?
I just stick the Warhammer right through his armor, right into his chest.
Yeah, cool. You flick this thing around. Again, you've seen how this guy operates. You know he's a slow, lumbering giant of a man. As he's moving, you know that you have to get close to him. You go, okay, I've kept my distance for as much as I can, but I know if I just land one big hit on him, he's down. He's definitely out for the count. You time it perfectly. He does catch you in the shoulder, but you just swing back with your Warhammer, plunge it into his chest, and as you land the killing blow, the knight's helmet flies off, revealing the man underneath. You recognize this man as a former knight of the Round Table, Sir Morian. He falls to his knees. "You fight well, young knight. I haven't had a decent bout in quite some time, for I was bound to the curse of the armor to never leave these woods. I suppose you wish to finish the battle, but I do have one question for you, and only one request. I ask that you grant me an honourable death, but before you do, pray tell me, what do you hope to find?"
I hope to find Excalibur on my quest, so that it may continue to bring Camelot glory and continue to look after the people.
Excalibur?
Do you know where it is?
I do not, but he points, and as you're turning around, he goes, "No, your dagger, young man, the one you took from me. I stole that, and that ended up with me being cursed. I stole that from the glass house on Bardsley Island. If you wish to find the Lady of the Lake, seek first the one who loves her. He reaches over for his fallen helmet, places it back on his head, awaiting your next move. What do you do?
Are you sure the only way to break this curse is to give you an honorable death?
I've been dead for a very long time within this armor. Not being able to return to Camelot, not being able to see my loved ones. I'll be damned if I stay here any longer.
Is there anything you'd like me to take back to Camelot from you?
Just a memory. Everything else is defiled anyways.
I grab my short sword. I come up behind him, just above his left shoulder,
Yeah,
and I plunge the sword through the top of his left shoulder into his heart.
yeah, cool. You find the gap in his armor and you take a deep breath in, and he breathes in as well. And as he breathes out, you plunge your short sword into his heart. As the body slumps into its final position, you see the white rabbit return and snuggle into Sir Morian's lap. A single tear falls through the crack of his helmet, and it lands with a heavy thud. What do you do?
Before the area where I thought it was a statue,
Mm-hmm.
I take his body and pull it over to there. I then collect rocks from the surrounding area and pile them on his body,
Yeah.
grabbing his sword
Yep.
and popping it through the top. Not through him,
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
but
Enough that it's propped up.
enough that it's propped up
Yep.
and people can recognize from his sword
Yeah.
who he is.
That's brilliant. So, obviously, you gather up the rocks from the nearby stream, you put it up there, and as you do that, you notice that the sun is kind of coming up a little bit more. It almost looks like the foliage is clearing a path back into the woods. It almost feels like you're free to move again. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna take a short rest because
Yep.
moving all those rocks was.
Oh, it's fucking tiring. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a fucking warlock, all right? Say it, just do what it is, all right? Just say it as trying to circumvent. I know exactly what you're doing, you fucker. But while you're actually having a short rest, I'll let you do this as well. You can roll a history or an insight to figure out who this mystery man is, the one who loves the Lady of the Lake.
A 9.
A 9? Something just doesn't ring a bell. You know where Bardsley Island is, and you know that that's where Sir Morian stole the blade from, and the person who lives on Bardsley Island was the one who cursed him. So there must be some sort of direct correlation, right? So you know where Bardsley Island is. Unfortunately, you don't know where this man is. So Sir Morian insinuated that he might still be in the glass house, this mystery man. So I'm assuming that that's where you're heading.
Yes,
Yeah.
it will be.
As you go back to Roach, it's a 3 days journey to get to Bardsley Island. You get to the rocky shores of the mainland and you see ahead of you, it looks like, oh, Bardsley Island. But there's no way Roach is getting all the way over to Bardsley Island. You're going to have to find a different way. You can roll perception or investigation.
I got a 5.
You got a 5, okay. Guess who's fucking swimming now? You're looking around. Honestly, it doesn't look like much. There is a very dinky looking boat nearby. You can go to it. It doesn't look like it's the safest thing ever, but with a 5, that's all you find.
I guess I'm taking the dinky boat.
I guess you are. Unless you want Papa Roach to fucking drown, you know, never-ending story style. That's tough. But yeah, you use this dinky little boat and you just have one single oar that's barely functional. You're having to choke it up really close to the head in order to even use it. You row your way onto the island. You hop off the small boat and you tie it off. As you tie off the boat, you can make another perception check on the island to see if you find a building.
A 9.
A 9, okay. You know that you're looking for a glass structure of some sort. You don't know where this glass structure is. Do you venture deeper into the island?
I'm going to have to.
As you're walking in, you're trying to look for this glass structure. And as you're walking slowly, you're being very careful not to overstep or not be silly about the whole thing. You're walking cautiously. Roll a dex save, please, and thank you.
Nat 20.
Oh, you're
21.
so fucking lucky. As you're walking, it looks like it's a maze on this island. And as you're walking through the foliage, you're about to take another step. And right before you take another step, your hand just seems to brush off some of the foliage, and as you're brushing it off, your hand hits a solid structure right in front of you, made of glass. You knock on the glass, and to that sound, you hear a voice.
Who goes there? What business do you have on my island?
It's Doro, a knight of Camelot, and I hear that you have lost a dagger.
Returning something you've stolen from me, Doro?
No, returning something that belongs to you that somebody else stole.
And pray tell me, what is it that you hope to find here, upon returning what is rightfully mine?
An introduction to the Lady of the Lake.
A foolhardy venture, I'm afraid. The lady does not wish to speak to anyone anymore.
Perhaps, but you know how us Knights of Camelot are.
After a moment of silence, the glass actually opens inward, revealing a staircase going upward. What are you doing?
I start climbing the staircase.
You walk up the stairs and you find an elderly man hunched over his desk that's overflowing with artifacts and magical trinkets. The room is just filled with cases and shelves, and they house just different magical objects everywhere you look. The older man turns and faces you.
So, you bested Sir Morian and retrieved my blade, the white hilt. To whom do I owe my gratitude, Doro?
That wouldn't be me. Doro Featherbreeze.
Featherbreeze, you're one of Sir Percival's, aren't you?
I certainly am.
Oh, brother. Well, I appreciate you returning my blade, but can I do anything else for you?
Don't suppose you could put Excalibur in my hands?
You say Excalibur. He looks at you.
Excalibur? And pray tell, why do you need Excalibur?
To rally the people of Camelot, to give them hope after the death of their king.
Arthur was foolish. I told him not to fight Mordred. I told him that this whole battle was foolhardy. I told him, advised him not to. And yet he, in his hubris, decided that he could take on Mordred with his own army, with his own men. And look where that's landed. Foolishness begets foolishness. Be that as it may, well met, young knight. Let me introduce myself, Doro. To few I am Mirrodin, but to most I am Merlin. I know you seek the blade, but you will not find it here.
Pray tell, where might I find it then?
You see he groans and he, walks over, fetches a map and comes back and, plops it in your hand. It's an old man. This guy is just sick of the whole world. He is hundreds of years old. He doesn't have the time for this.
Lady Nimue, beautiful and kind as she is, she has chosen in her immense wisdom to hide the sword away. Sir Bedivere sought my counsel and expressed to me that it was Arthur's final wish for the sword to return to Lady Nimue. So, why then do you wish to undo his request?
I'm sure when he made that decision it was the best thing for Camelot, but that decision no longer applies to this time. It has been far more devastating to the people than he must have realized.
Arthur was a fool, a brave fool.
He always did what he thought was right.
It was not the agreement. The agreement was that I was his chief counselor. He was to listen to my advice, not brush it off as some sort of old man's ponderings. Look, I cannot plead with Lady Nimue. She has repudiated my love, and I wish to suffer a broken heart no longer.
He looks at you, grits his teeth.
I shall take you to her, but you must plead your own case.
Merlin snaps his finger, and in a moment you are transported to an unfamiliar beach. Your feet sink slightly into the soft sand below. A thick mist covers the area, and an unpleasant gust pushes past you. Merlin speaks.
I shall proceed no further, for if I were to gaze upon her beauty once more, my heart would surely break. I wish you the best, Doro. Nimue is wise but fair. Listen to her counsel and marvel at her beauty. Goodbye, young knight, and may the lady look favorably upon you. Another gust of wind blows, and Merlin turns into a mist as he disappears into the wind.
I'm really going to ask how that's done.
It's weird because it is actually raining on this beach, and mist shouldn't travel the way it just did. You look out to the lake and you see ripples moving towards you. The figure of a woman dressed in a completely white gown emerges from the water. Despite just being submerged, the lady is completely dry, and you see the material of her white gown flow in the wind. She speaks. What is it that you seek? Favor with your lord? Fame across the land? Or do you seek redemption for Camelot?
I take a knee, pop my warhammer into the ground. I look up at her. Fame has no interest to me. That is the thing of this material realm. But for the people, I seek to encourage the people that they may not lose heart and perish. Sir Percival, in his wisdom, has told me that Excalibur can do this for them, and thus I have been sent on this errand to retrieve it, that the people may once again be rallied, that they may be encouraged, and that Camelot will flourish once more.
And you think you are worthy of wielding Excalibur, be it for a brief moment? What proof does one have to validate such a claim?
Worthy or not, I have been charged with this, and I am here to help those people.
She looks at you, curious. Since you have no proof, I propose another way. Answer my question and drink from my cup of wisdom. The answer you seek lies in the word that I speak. Should you wish to proceed, you shall have 2 opportunities to answer correctly. Slayer of regrets, old and new, sought by many, but found by few. What am I? You can roll history or insight.
Let's go with insight. Actually, no, we'll go with history.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, an 18.
Good, very good. So, with an 18, you remember that Nimue stated that the answer to the riddle is actually in the words that she speaks. That can mean both past and present tense. Once again, her opening sentence was this. What is it that you seek? Favor with your lord, fame across the land, or do you seek redemption for Camelot? So, be honest in your response. Do you seek favor, fame, or redemption?
Redemption.
Okay. Is that what you say to her?
Yes.
The lady smiles and points to your feet. You look down at the gravelly sand beneath you as it begins to rise. You brush the sand away and you find a silver chalice. Nimue speaks. Drink from the lake of wisdom.
I pick up the goblet and I drink the whole amount.
You pick up the goblet and you notice that it's empty. You go and just fill a little bit of water from the lake and you take a drink. Immediately, your vision becomes blurry and you fall to your knees. The world around you begins to shake, and as you turn to face the Lady of the Lake, a huge wave rises from the lake and crashes over you. Make a Constitution save, please.
I have an 8.
8. You take 7 points of necrotic damage as this wave just smashes across you. Your heavy armor and weapons begin to drag you deeper into the water. You can continue to sink and potentially drown, or doff your armor and weapons and attempt to swim up for air. What do you do?
I'm not doffing my armor.
Yeah, cool. You begin to sink even further. Make another Constitution saving throw.
Oh, a 4.
Cool. That's 13 points of necrotic damage as you sink further and further. You're starting to lose oxygen. You probably only have 2 more rounds in you before you pass out completely.
How far beneath the water am I?
I would say at this point, 2 rounds in, I'd say you're a good 70, 75 feet in.
I'm going to pull off my armor and face step straight up into the air.
Cool. How far will that get you?
30 feet.
30 feet? Cool. You get up 30 feet. You're about 30, 35 feet out from just the surface of the water. The water is still deep. Are you still holding on to your weapons? What are you doing there?
I'm hanging on to my... Actually, do I need to hang on to my weapon? Because it is also my packed weapon, which means I'm pretty sure I can call it.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Pretty sure you can call it back, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just going to drop it.
Yeah,
I'll call it once I'm on the surface.
Sweet. With nothing holding you back, you just swim right back up, and you rush to the surface and gasp for air. As your hand breaks the surface, another hand grabs you and pulls you completely out of the water. And as you catch your breath and you look up, you see Nimue. You see that you're standing on the surface of the lake somehow.
The stillness of a lake makes it look more like glass. Again, just soft rain. Not a lot, but just enough that it kind of throws you off a little bit. It's raining. You're standing in the middle of a lake. On the water, you're currently prone. What do you do?
I get up.
Yeah, cool. You stand on your feet and Nimue speaks. You have a choice. To war or to bring peace. Which shall you choose? She holds out 2 swords, one in each hand. Arthur had 2 blades. She holds out an ornate sword, Excalibur, his chosen instrument for war, a testament of strength and power. She holds out a 2nd blade. Arthur's 2nd blade was Clarent, a sword to represent peace, a symbol of unification through righteous justice. She unsheaths the blade of Clarent, and you see that it's nothing more than just a wooden training sword. Which one do you pick?
A difficult choice, as I know Percival wanted me to get Excalibur, but his intent was to save the people, and therefore Clarent is what I must choose, despite his instructions.
She looks at you curiously, a little pleased if anything, and she tosses you the sword. You've chosen peace. Show me that you know how to wield its power. Show me that you understand the blade's purpose. Let's roll initiative to fight the Lady of the Lake.
That's 20.
Hell yeah.
So I got a 21.
She got the exact inverse. She got a 12. Fantastic. Currently, Dara, what's happening is that you no longer have any of your weapons. You don't have any of your armor on you, which kind of complicates things. But you do have this beautiful wooden sword in your hand. It is made of complete wood. It looks pretty, but it's a fucking wooden sword. You are first to hack, though. So I will tell you right now, with Clarent, you have a +8 to hit. Roll an attack.
Okay, before I roll to attack, I use Hexblade's Curse. This gives me another bonus 3 to hit,
Brilliant.
and I run up and I go to hit.
Go for it.
Okay, so that's a dirty 20.
Definitely hits. You get to roll 3d8 plus 3 slashing damage.
That's 20 slashing damage.
20 slashing damage. Cool. Straight away, you just swing this wooden sword and you slash at her for 20 points of damage. Another bonus to Clarent is that now she needs to make a wisdom saving throw of a DC 16 or she loses one of her attacks. So, she rolled a natural 18 on the die. She's okay, but that was just your first attack, so go ahead, your second attack.
Okay, that's 17.
17 is her AC. Go ahead. So 3d8 plus 3.
That's another 20.
Oof. 40 points of damage just to start things off. Her wisdom save is a natural 7, means that she loses one of her attacks. She then looks at you, having just taken both of these swings. Is there anything else that you're doing with your turn?
No, I used my bonus action for the curse, so that's everything.
Sure. You just swung at her twice, and you've landed these amazing, just powerful hits with Clarent. Again, a wooden sword, but it's able to do so much damage. She looks at you, having just lost one of her attacks. She looks at you and swings Excalibur once at you. 17?
Yeah, that hits.
Oh, thank God. Cool. She doesn't have a lot, dude. That's 7 slashing damage, and I'm going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw, DC 16. 10?
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking stupid. I rolled 2d4s and both of them are 1s. This is bullshit. You take 2 bleeding damage from that as well. She only has 1 attack. She's managed to land. Obviously not as hard as you, but it is your turn again. So go for it. What do you do?
Let's go for another hit. That's 25.
Definitely hits.
That's 24 slashing.
24 slashing.
I guess I go again.
Yeah, go for it.
Ooh, well, that's a 13.
No, unfortunately, it's 13 definitely misses. So you confidently go up, and again, you slash right into her, dealing a lot of damage on your first attack, and you get a bit too overconfident. You go in for your second swing, and she knows your attacks at this point, just so gracefully moves right out of the way. It is back to her turn, but you did hit her, which means that she needs to make a wisdom saving throw or lose one of her attacks. It's a natural 1. Fucking bullshit. So she's only got the 1 attack on you this time. 17 again. Good lord. It's going to be 13 points of damage this time, and I need another Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, nat 20.
Yeah, right. Fucking bullshit. Once again, this blade comes around and Excalibur is moving just amazing. It doesn't feel like it's even cutting through the water. It's almost moving in between the water, like it has one sole purpose, and that purpose is to lead to more destruction, war. It's trying to cause mayhem, and it doesn't want to attack anything else but you, because you are Lady Nimu's only adversary right now. She only has one attack. She's used that to hit you. There's no bleeding damage from that at all, but go ahead. It is your turn again.
Okay, I'm going to try it here again. 25.
25 definitely hits.
This time I am going to put a smite behind this.
Yeah, go for it.
Which is just as well because I rolled awful. That is 14 slashing. Okay, that's a level 2 smite. And that's another 14 radiant.
Brilliant. You see that she's looking hurt now. Not close to death at all, but she's looking hurt. All the damage that you've done with this wooden sword, with Clarent, is fantastic. But it doesn't seem to find enough purchase on her. And then you started smiting. All of that looks like it's doing a decent chunk of damage. Like she's almost taking, for lack of a better term, all of the damage.
Oh, okay.
That's DM speak for she has resistances. Cool. That was your first attack there?
Yep, first
Cool.
attack.
Second attack?
Okay, second attack. That is a dirty 20.
Definitely hits. She is looking hurt now.
I'm going to smite again. That's a bit better. 23 slashing. And 20 radiant.
You slash into Nimue and you see that it just cuts right through. She falls to the ground with a heavy thud, sending huge rippling waves across the surface of the lake. She coughs up some blood. The choice is yours, young knight. How do you choose to begin the new era? Through death or through mercy? What do you do?
Mercy, my lady. I would never harm you. Worse than I already have. And I kneel down and I give her all 25 points of my lay on hands pool.
Wow. Okay. So go ahead and roll persuasion for me, and you can do this with advantage as well.
I got an 11.
11? Okay. You manage to pick her back up, and as you're picking her back up, your lay of hands as an innate ability as a paladin, you're attempting to cure her wounds and, alleviate a lot of this damage that you've just done. You choose to spare her life. You take a step back, and you suddenly feel your foot slip underwater. Before you can catch yourself, though, you fall all the way into the lake, and in a flash, you wake back up on the beach, surrounded by sand. You gather yourself. The rain has stopped. You stand up, and you see a small rock emerge out of the water with something sticking out of it. What do you do?
I swim out and grab it.
Yeah. You swim out to the water. Again, the water is not choppy. There's no real significant waves to this lake at all. But as you get to the rock, you see that it's a rock that you can actually climb upon. You climb up on the rock, and you grip the handle of what looks like a sword. You attempt to pull the blade. Roll a strength save for me.
An 11?
An 11? You, for some reason, cannot pull this with all the strength in the world. You just cannot pull it. It almost feels like you're trying to force this thing out of the stone. But then you just remember the lady's words. Peace is what you chose. You take a deep breath in. You gently grab the handle, and as you pull it, like a hot knife through butter, or if you will, a sword out of a stone. Congratulations, you are now the wielder of Excalibur. And that is where we'll end the session. Very, very, very well done, Penny. You little shit. I knew that you'd come in with something. I was like, I hope he's playing Doro. I was like, I hope he's playing Doro. Knowing full well that, we play these in our home games and whatnot, but we don't get, I don't get to play, for example, I haven't been able to play Jonah, true gunslinger Jonah on the podcast at all. And I was like, I wish these people knew what Doro was, because Doro is fucking broken. A warlock and a paladin, fuck you, all right? It's one step over a coffee locket. Man, I had so much fun. Thank you so much for showing up, dude. I love that. Dora is such a cool character.
His stats aren't even that broken. So he's got a 20 in charisma naturally.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah.
Because I put everything in there. His next highest stat is 15 in strength.
Wow.
Because I needed that for his armor.
Yep.
And then that's 14, 13, 12. And his intelligence is at 8. So he's not broken.
You've dumped intelligence, though. I think, is it 15 just so that he can have heavy?
Yeah.
Good man. Good man. I
Yeah,
love
it's
it.
just so he can use his heavy armor and his shield.
Yep. Love it.
Because that's part of the reason is he hasn't got the best stats, but because he's part warlock
Yeah.
and it's his packed weapon,
Yep.
that allows him to use his charisma for
Yep.
attacking.
Yep. That's brilliant.
And because normally when you multi-class, you need 3, sometimes even 4 stats to be good
Yep.
to make it.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, well, how can I make a character around? I just need 1 good stat.
Yep.
And that's Doro. He has 1 good stat.
That's it.
That's the reason why I just can't roll anything else that's good. But that's part of his flavor. He's broken,
Yeah.
but he's also useless in certain circumstances. I love that.
Very charismatic. It's just, oh, okay, you come to a wall. You need to climb the wall. Can I persuade the wall to get shorter? It's like, no, you fucking cannot, Doro. Stop doing this.
Yeah, I tried to climb it. I slipped down a couple of times. Okay, I phase step to the top.
And it's like, well, you had that the whole time? It's like, God damn it. I love it. I mean, we're going to chat a bit more about this in the second wind as well, but a little bit of a spoiler, and this is a bit of a cliffhanger, if you will. There were multiple endings to this one shot as well. There were multiple endings, and there was multiple points that you could have chosen to do different things, and that would have influenced a lot more. And we'll chat more about that in the second wind. But there's a bit of a cliffhanger. But it's just so much fun, and we'll talk more about it in the second wind. But stay in tune for that episode. And if you like what you heard, then please follow us on Instagram at OneShotDND. You can join us on the Discord using the link in the show notes as well. If you could leave a comment on the episode and share the podcast with a few friends. If you have a few friends, congratulations. If you don't, fucking find some. But you can find all of Benny's links in the bottom. Again, if you want me to shout out your accounting business, which is fucking brilliant, by the way, I'll have that in the description as well. I hope you guys had fun, and I'll see you in the next episode.